Hello, Karen here, Emerging Soul Tarot with your daily read. So we're going with the Shaman cards again. So Spirit, have you got a message for us? And thank you for the new subscribers. You're really welcome and I really appreciate it. And feel free to like, share, comment. Spirit, what's our message for today? Oh, there we are. We have an ancestor of knowing. I'm going to have a look in the oracle to see what this ancestor wants to say. Okay. And our ancestors are about our lineage. If we go back, we're standing on the shoulders of all the people who went before us, not just in our families, but spiritually, all the spirit beings that have been before us. We stand on their knowledge, their lives, what they built. And also there's this sense with ancestors that we become the ancestors of future generations. So whatever we're doing here, we're building for the future generations. So with the ancestor cards, there's that sense of realizing it's not an individual thing, you know, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, etc., whatever. It's actually about our lineage in terms of the lands we live in, and globally, but also, you know, beyond people. It's spiritual ancestors. So this ancestor of knowing is saying, I am the ancestor of knowing. I am the embodiment of all knowledge and will show you the way toward a proper understanding of everything around you. You may think that you know a person or a situation without having a true appreciation of their character or significance. My clear vision offers you an illuminating perspective in all directions. I enable you to see past surface features, penetrating beneath them to arrive at a purer wisdom, truer wisdom. Yeah, so that clear-sightedness, knowledge with understanding, it can also be that sort of warrior insight. You know, I mean, we have an owl here. So that's that wisdom of the owl, and, you know, it's a knowing that's a deep inner knowing. So yeah, it's an interesting card for today. So we'll pull some more shamanic cards, the Shamanic Healing Oracle. Yeah, real sense of that heart, you know, real heart knowledge, heart knowing. So Spirit, can you give us some cards for this ancestor of knowing, what you want us to know? Yeah, I'm kind of getting this sense that we often are stuck in, you know, our circumstances, what's happening to us, but this is a perception, you know, that night vision that the owl has. It's a perception that goes beyond our own circumstances. Okay. Okay. So we have burden, new day, and anger. Okay, so we'll start with our burden. It's the ant with the leaf, you know, the huge leaf. So this can often be carrying the burden of others rather than just our own, and seeing it as a kind of sacrifice, real sense of you know, we feel we're supporting the other person to save them trouble and heartache. This can happen a lot with people we love deeply, you know, partners, children, parents, this sense of holding their heartache because their heartache feels so painful for us. But this is kind of counterproductive. Yeah, we can support, but we shouldn't be carrying their burdens, because when we do that, we deny them the ability of learning, you know, of learning resilience, of learning lessons, learning blessings from it. And also we can interfere with, you know, divine timing. That's really difficult, I know that. I mean, gee, the times I've interfered, you know, in terms of my children, because we all hate to see people we love suffering. And yeah, you can lend an ear, you can lend, you know, your arms to cuddle them, but really their burdens are their own, and that goes for anybody that we love. So we've also got to ask ourselves as well, you know, sometimes we take on burdens in order to feel needed. Yeah. You know, so we kind of make ourselves indispensable. So I think this ancestor of knowing, this is this kind of knowing what your motives are for helping others, looking into that, but also, you know, that the bottom line is when we overhelp, when we carry burdens that are not ours, we're actually saying to the people they're not capable of sorting that out for themselves. There's that sense. Okay, so it is a difficult one, but if you believe that you're, you know, you're doing that, then this is a time where, you know, you can get that perspective, because sometimes when we let these burdens go, we're like, whoa, why did I carry them, you know? And you see the other people grow, you know, when it's a bit like getting out of our own way and getting out of other people's way. I'm not saying don't offer your ear and offer your arms, but we can't carry it for them in that sense. You know, people, we all have lessons to learn, you know, when we do something wrong or we create a mess because of our choices. You know, part of the lesson is learning how to mop up your own messes. There's some bizarre noises going on in this house. So yeah, that sense that, you know, when we're in a place of balance, we won't feel the need either to make ourselves indispensable to others. We'll be able to allow others to kind of you know, deal with their own issues and carry their own burdens, and we can just open our hearts and ears to them, you know, and bring them love and let them carry their own burdens, their own crap, really, excuse my French. So we go to this anger card. I mean, we've had this a few times. It's a wasp, the angry wasp, you know, the anger that stings, and it can be, you know, it can be anger that is justified in the sense of you've been hurt, or you've been, you know, or this person who has the burden, you know, you or this person, the burden may be that anger. It's strong, it's primal, okay, Often surprising, the same as the wasp who comes up and stings you. But it can also be that slow boil, that slow simmering, yeah. But often anger is about fear, you know, fear of loss of control, fear of not being loved, fear of being judged, fear of not being enough. So it's that, allow it to come up, yeah. It doesn't disappear. You can't transmute it without looking what's underneath it. So, you know, with this burden, you know, are we in a place of anger because we don't feel that we're being valued, you know, and we're carrying other people's burdens? That can be your fear of, you know, being abandoned, your fear of, so that sense of making yourself indispensable. So yeah, it's a kind of looking at your motives, and this ancestor of knowing, it is the knowing, it's having the wisdom to see in the dark corners of ourselves. And we've all been in these positions, you know, it's in no way judgmental. We've all been in those positions. So if we are there, when we're questioning, we just need this to come up, to pass through us and to move through us, you know, that energy flow I keep talking about. It's just a case of allowing it to come up, the anger, the burden we're feeling, and allow it to pass through. Allow yourself to be taken downward, to look in that kind of dark cave to see where it's coming from. And then we have this beautiful new day. So this is about seeing in a brand new light. And you get that clarity when there aren't, you know, the shadows of fear and doubt, yeah, you know, and the anger, because under that anger we're saying there's fear. The burden can help us, can stop us seeing, you know. But this new day, this is actually just seeing how beautiful, you know, life is, even the burdens and the anger, how much we can learn, how much we can see. When we're in these sorts of energies, it's often because we're stuck in one duality or another, you know. But this is finding the comfort that there's truly no bad or good. It is what it is. It is as it is. Yeah, so once that's seen, there's endless, infinite possibilities, you know. It's a new day. But this can also be a card of waiting. So if you're in this situation, if you've got a person near to you who's carrying a really heavy burden, you know, kind of plumb into that wisdom of knowing, yeah, plumb into it and ask yourself, why do I need to carry this? Because often we want to carry their burden and make it okay because we find it so painful to watch them. And it can be as simple as that, we don't want to watch them, yeah. But actually it's often the way of learning, you know. It's like watching a caterpillar get out of a cocoon. If you or a bird, you know, especially a caterpillar, not a caterpillar, a butterfly. If you cut the cocoon and you pull the caterpillar out, the force in its way out gets rid of all the fluids in its wings. If you cut the cocoon and you help it, it'll be engorged with fluids. And we got to look at it like that in people's life. As painful as it is to watch people struggle, you know, and as I say, we can be there with a hug and an encouragement for them. That struggle is what is going to get rid of the additional fluid in their wings. Or we could, you know, we could interfere and they may never fly. So there's that sense of it, yeah. So quite a kind of tough message, but that's okay. Very interesting. I have this card sat here, visions of life beyond death. It's the daily card today, so the owl seems to be the theme. That card's up on my Instagram, and what else is it up on? Was it yesterday's card? Yeah, it's up on Instagram and Facebook page if you want to know the meaning of it. Okay, so let's pull us one last message. Yeah, spider's web. It says, distinguish the importance of your inner spiritual work from outer success. Yeah, so this can be this, you know, where we want to support people outwardly, in an outward sense, because we don't want to see them, you know, struggle externally, struggle in the world. But this is saying our inner work, you know. So when these situations come, look at them, see them for what they are, you know, open to knowing, and know that this is part of your inner growth too, you know. Even the difficulty of watching something you want to alleviate can really grow. It can grow us as well, yeah. So make that distinction about what you want to do outwardly. And I'm talking of things like, you know, with children who constantly, if they're asking for money and they're in really difficult situations, just an example, if we keep paying, they're never going to learn to, you know, to sort out their own finances and get some responsibility. So it is that sense, you know, we often want to alleviate those externals, but it's the inner work, you know. What is it in you that, apart from love, you know, why do we need to do this for people? I think that's the sense of the read. Okay, it's a little bit bitty, but I hope that was helpful. All right, lots of love. Bye bye.